What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we doing something different. We are doing the Donald Trump natal chart breakdown. I am the Hood Mystic. I just want to invite you all to come visit the site www.hoodmystic.com. Check out our articles and our videos and all of our good stuff that we got on there. So be sure to check us out. Now, for the main event, Donald Trump. Natal chart analysis by the Hood Mystic. So this guy, you may have heard of him, Donald Trump. He wanted me to do a natal chart reading for him or whatever. He said I could post it on my YouTube page. So here it is, man. Hopefully he doesn't fire me. So I'm gonna try to run through this fairly quick. I don't want to just drone on and on. I just want to hit up some points in this chart that I find interesting and kind of talk about this thing. So first thing you look at when you see Donald Trump's chart, first that it's one-sided. He doesn't have planets like all over his chart. He's kind of really focused in a particular area of life. He has a real path or purpose. Generally, when you look at your chart and you see everything to one side or the other side, it really gives you a clear pathway of what you're good at and what you actually need to work on. So the first thing that I noticed with Donald Trump's chart is that he has a Sun conjunct Uranus and Gemini opposing the Moon in Sagittarius. So, you know, if I had some applause or hand claps, we would clap it up. If you were born on a full moon, that is a favorable position. You want to be born on a full moon. Women, if you're on the cusp of a full moon and you're about to be having a child, you want to hold that thing in for a little bit till it's a full moon and have that child, because generally you'll have a successful child. I don't know why, but you really want to go for that. And so Donald Trump is no exception to that rule. So him having a Sun conjunct Uranus and Gemini, it gives him it makes him automatically different. It makes his personality different, and he has it bad. He has Gemini and he has his moon in Sagittarius, Sun in Gemini and moon in Sagittarius, meaning that he suffers from being right no matter what. And so it's an opposition, meaning that if he can incorporate that into his personality, he'll be successful, regardless of how weird it sounds. Generally, my Sun and Gemini people, there is an ugly truth to you that you don't want to kind of let be known, and you try to subdue it or submerge it and try to be like everyone else. Donald Trump is indicative to what can happen when you utilize your Gemini energy and incorporate your darkness into, what you're trying to create. If you are Sun in Gemini or Sun in Sagittarius, Moon in Gemini or Moon in Sagittarius, generally you're right even when people think you're wrong. So generally working with that energy and understanding that energy brings about success. And ultimately, it may not be the success where you think it's going to come, but it's the dark energy that you can't really ignore and hide if you're a Gemini. Because when you hide and subdue your darker energy, that's when you end up getting sick and unhealthy, and you could possibly even pass away, because the dark energy within a Gemini and Sagittarius is so strong that it overrides common sense. And so you may not be liked if you're a Gemini, but you'll be living your path and you'll be living your purpose and you'll be living your truth. And so understanding this is somehow you can kind of understand Donald Trump and his psychology. Now, you may not be with it. You may not understand it. And so this conversation isn't a pro Donald Trump or an anti Donald Trump. It's just more of a realistic view of him based on the astrology. Now, if he actually did want to get a reading from me, I would point this out. I would say, bro, it's people that's not going to like you when you speak your truth. but that don't mean that you don't need to speak your truth. And however weird or crazy it may sound, if it's from your gut, if it's from your subconscious, then you gotta roll with it, bro. Because even you don't know your part to play in the movie. Everybody wants to be the hero in the movie, but some of us have to be the antithesis. Some of us have to be the villains. Some of us have to be the antagonists in the play, because this is the world that we live in. If we didn't live in this world, everybody would be in a utopic society, be saying kumbaya, would have never had to get in a fight growing up. Yeah, you know, you'd have never got sneak diss on social media. So really understanding that your truth is going to make people want to fight you, but it's still right and exact, and it's still going to get you success, and you know, you're not going to be touched. Moving forward, we got Mercury in Cancer square Neptune in Libra. And so generally what we're dealing with, if you got a baby daddy or a baby mama and you looking at her chart one day and you notice she got Mercury in Cancer, well, maybe you won't have no baby daddy or baby mama with a Neptune in Libra, because that's a generational. And if you that's some older. So basically, if you're dealing with an older gentleman, your sugar daddy, you understand what I'm saying? And he got the Neptune in Libra and his Mercury is in Cancer and he got a square, 9 times out of 10, your sugar daddy or sugar mama is a liar. And they gonna tell you how good it's gonna be to get with them, come chill with Big Daddy, come lay up with Big Mama, and you know, they send you the address, and it's a double wide trailer. You understand? It may be nice in the trailer, but you know what I'm saying, how they was pumping it all up, it wasn't everything that you thought it was once gonna be. Like, so that's a more of a nigga representation of this energy. The president represented this energy by campaigning, telling people that he was going to make America great again. That's an exaggeration. When was America great? You understand? Or saying, I'm going to build a wall. Well, they coming through in tunnels. You understand? So it's like, everything that he said, if you watch a Donald Trump speech, there's going to be some exaggeration, there's going to be some hyperbole, there's going to be some things that kind of pump you up and juice you up and be having like, yeah, let's do it, let's get it. But you ain't know the whole time he was just lying to your ass. You understand? And so Mercury in Cancer just represents strong ties to the family. And Neptune in Libra is how you relate to people. And so his ties to the family must have been a corrupt and evil way of being taught and brought up. And so when you speak of a square, you speak of a challenge. So he now is challenged in his ability to relate to other people based upon his truth, and he thinks that his truth is everyone's truth. And so once again, if I was giving him a reading, I would tell him he needs to work on this. But as you can see, he does not work on this. He does not practice in speaking his truth. I mean, I don't think that he possibly could actually speak his truth at this point. He's too far in. He's too deep in. So generally, you just know now. Like, you understand he's a con man. You understand that he's going to rile you up. And so if I know that's your approach and I know that's your stick, then I'm not going to be perceptible or like tricked by it. So many Americans were actually tricked by this actual astrological placement that he has based upon his knack for kind of really using exaggeration and hyperbole. Exaggeration is a statement that represents something as better or worse than it really is. So making America great again, what are you actually what are you actually talking about? Hyperbole is exaggerated statements or claims that meant to be taken literally. So it's really he's saying nothing, but in your mind you can visualize that as some type of utopic solution to your problems, whether it be Trump University or staying at a Trump hotel, you understand? Or, and this was like before the president, before you hated him, he was a symbol of success. So you understand, like, now we can talk about it and be like, you know, why would you do a natal chart reading on this guy? Like, who is this guy or whatever? But if you look at the chart, you can kind of see how he got to where he is and what tactics he used. And then you can kind of look at his aspects and you can kind of see, like, if you have those aspects or know people that have those aspects, like, kind of key in on, like, maybe I should talk to them, or, you know, or just knowing, like, this is what's going on with this person. He's a liar. And you won't be fooled by it or wonder why, like, this person ain't shit. You would just know. He says it himself in his book, The Art of the Deal. He says, I call it truthful hyperbole. It's an innocent form of exaggeration and a very effective form of promotion. So generally, he's playing on people's fantasies. And he did that with a large proportion of the American population, sad to say. We all have fantasies of success, especially like the farmers and the small business workers who wanted tax breaks and things of that nature. They wanted, you know, a break. And he realized that there was a large percentage of this population who hasn't been talked to. And really, we talking about lower class to middle class white people. And he realized that lower class to middle class white people don't have a particular voice speaking directly to them. Generally, in all of society, if you feel as though you're a European, Caucasian, white, however you want to classify yourself, you automatically are successful, rich, and wealthy, and everybody just caters to you. The world is your oyster. You're just a great white person. But the reality is there are more poor white people in this country than any other group in the country. So, you know, white people struggle too. And so they need a voice too. They need to be spoken to. So Trump stepped in and said, you know, I'm going to be that guy for y'all. You understand? Not even, and you know, they didn't even know that he was not a survivor. He was not rags to riches. His daddy was Sears Roebuck. He came from money. So he's not a survivor. So let's look at some of these other aspects real quick. He had a Venus conjunct Saturn in Cancer, square Jupiter and Libra. So when you have Venus conjunct Saturn, in wherever it is in your chart, just consider yourself as a late bloomer. And a late bloomer, you'll know that you're a late bloomer because you'll still be like very goal oriented and you'll be trying shit, but you'll be failing or you'll be taking learning lessons from that. But ultimately, you're going to be successful based upon just you overcoming that Saturn energy that's always making sure that you're connected to family, since his is in Cancer. You know, if you look at the Trumps or Donald Trump, you can say what you want to say about him, but he has a real strong sense of family, because he has planets in Cancer. So he has a Saturn influence in Cancer. So generally, whether or not, he's always had a wife, he's always had a lady on his arms, he's always had his children with him and things of that nature. So it shows that he's very connected to family based on his astrological chart. But the square and the challenge comes is Jupiter and Libra, because he has energy in Libra as well, because a lot of his energy is consolidated, which, like I said, if your energy is relegated to one side, that means your energy is more consolidated, where you can kind of clearly see your path. So make sure you examine your chart and just kind of look at it for a second and just see where is shit at. You understand? But back to Jupiter and Libra. Jupiter and Libra brings about a level of expansion due to connection. And so he has to connect to the world. He has to connect to people. This is his path in life, is to connect to people and to expand to people. And so he has to overcome that square, which is Saturn influence in his family. So it was a lot of ideas from his family, from his father, that he had to kind of break free from. And once he kind of broke free from that, he kind of became successful. And I don't know if it was because he owed so much money to the banks that the banks kind of adopted his personality, and now the bank is now the president under the banner of Donald Trump. But generally, he's a success now. He's the 45th president. So say what you want to say about that. Pluto in Leo, sextile Neptune in Libra. He was born under one of the rare cosmological I don't even know the word, aspects or planetary placements. Pluto in Libra, sextile Neptune in Libra. What this does, it was like a survivor mode, or really the crux to our survival, really, that was going to evolve us, where you get a lot of the Bill Gates from, the Steve Jobs and things of that nature. You know, that's the general aspect of Pluto in the sign. So Pluto in Leo, that particular generation, you have a lot of people who are transformational, whether it's like guys like Jimi Hendrix. Forgive me because I don't have like the list in front of me, but just look it up, you know, Pluto and Leo, or then look up the groups of people that are Neptune and Libra. You know, we're really talking about powerful beings that came on this planet to kind of like usher in change. So, you know, these are the guys that created the internet, you know, and Windows and Macintosh and, you know, the iPhone and all of the shit that we on right now. The reason that we're able to communicate at this level, generally, because if it wasn't for people like this, nigga, we'd still be on rotary dial phones, you know, playing two on two outside, you know, all day. But now we sitting in front of computers and phones and all of that. And it's a particular planetary influence and a particular planetary group of beings. So not saying that Donald Trump is a part of that group, but he does represent the leader of it, I guess I would say. Kind of like the last hoorah of white supremacy, I would say. Generally, these guys are survivors and they came up with answers. Now, Donald Trump ain't a particular quote unquote survivor, like, you know, like his contemporaries, but he is good at playing up on the survivor and all of that type of rhetoric. Like, he's good at using those words in his speeches or interviews and things of that nature. Like, he's never gonna like be like, you know, I was taken care of my whole life, my dad was hella rich and gave me anything that I wanted. Like, that's not his story. His story is something completely different. But that's back to that Mercury and Cancer, dealing with that liar aspect, that hyperbole and exaggeration. And so finally we have Mars in Leo, and his Mars is conjunct his ascendant. And so when your Mars is conjuncted into your ascendant, these are the type of people that you want to do business with. These are the type of people that you want to attach yourself to, because these type of people just are popular. They just, like, people are attracted to them. They get things popping and they get things going. So generally, Mars and Leo is an aspect that you really want to look at when really determining like a business partner or something like that. You know, if you have a person that you're thinking about going to business with or doing something with, and they got a Mars conjunct Ascendant, like that's a go. Like that's a person right there that's gonna get some things going for you. The thing is because everything that Mars ascendants do, it is attached to their ego. It's attached to their being. So generally we might have small victories that we have within ourselves, and like, oh, I stopped smoking weed or I stopped eating meat. You know what I'm saying? We'll be happy about that. A Mars ascendant person is going to be like, I'm happy that I built this big ass building that you know what I'm saying? Like their happiness and their accomplishments is dealt with the external world. So anything that you need to get done on the external world, make sure you link up with a Mars ascendant, because they're just popular and they just deal with the external world better than people who don't have a Mars conjunct ascendant. I don't know why. So his Mars actually sextiles his sun and trines his moon. Real quick, this is the last slide. I just wanted to talk about this real quick. I ain't want to go on and on. But Mars trine moon is him always doing the thing that he fucking wants to do. A trine is something that's natural within you. He has a sextile to his sun in Uranus, which speaks to being a late bloomer and really being success later in life, because that's something that he had to work towards. He has to work towards really being the individual true self, whether it be, you know, however his story plays out, it's his story and he has control of it. And whether it's good or bad, you know, it's still monumental and it's still huge, you understand? And so it's something that we can learn from it. It's something that we can learn from everybody. And so if there's somebody that you would like to have an astrological breakdown, please leave a comment in this video and we'll do a video like this for them. But I'm just trying to just do something different on my channel. If y'all like this, please like, subscribe to my channel. If y'all didn't like it, give me the thumbs down, tell me to delete it, tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm stupid. I need all of that criticism because it all helps me be a better person at the end of it. So peace and thank you, love and blessings. I'm out.